This video does contain spoilers for Disney Dreams at Soar. If you intend on watching the show yourself, I recommend seeing it before turning to this video. Otherwise, please enjoy. Disney Dreams at Soar, presented by AT&T, is a unique drone show that Disney has brought to the Orlando shopping district, Disney Springs. Created in conjunction with the company Dronesis, the show runs about 10 minutes long and features 800 drones. In a world of Disney squeezing every last nickel and dime out of guests, this is a rare, completely free experience. So one question remains, is it any good? Well, last Monday I went to Disney Springs to see for myself. Keep watching to find out what I thought and some tips I learned. When we arrived to Disney Springs, we parked at the Orange Garage, which is closest to where you'll want to be. The show starts at 9 p.m., but we got there around 7:45 because we had heard people claiming that the viewing area filled up quickly, and they stopped letting people in after that. Something else to note, if you've ever been in Florida for any amount of time, you know it can rain at any moment. They will cancel the show for the night due to rain or high winds, as this happened to some friends of ours who tried to see it. The first change to the park I noticed upon arrival is at the west side they added tape on the ground dividing the path into 2 lanes, with cast members in the middle, strictly keeping people to one side, presumably for crowd control. They also completely roped off access to the lakeside where you view the drone show. If you try to go to the food truck area, they'll ask you if you're there for the food trucks or the show, and only let you in if you're there for the food trucks. The bathrooms by Starbucks right next to the food trucks are closed as well. The hot air balloon was also closed while we were there, although I'm not sure if that's all day or just after a certain time. We entered the viewing area by going past the Cirque du Soleil tent. We initially intended to watch it by the west side boat dock, but a cast member told us that would not be a good place to watch it, and we moved all the way in front of the Starbucks near the balloon. This highlights my primary complaint about the show, which is that Disney Springs isn't really designed for a show like this. Having this show requires them to block off access to the west side lakefront pathway, which causes traffic congestion in the rest of the shopping district. Once we found our spot, everything went mostly smoothly. However, my mom and girlfriend were sitting down on the ground about 20 minutes before the show, and a cast member asked them to stand up for the show. The show didn't start for another 20 minutes, so we aren't really sure why that went down that way, but alas. The show started pretty promptly at 9 p.m. It opens with the drones coming out over the lake. They do a pixie dust effect, and this was honestly when I was sold on the show. I love how you can see the drones trail off just like the animated pixie dust does. It's an incredibly strong effect. Next, they recreate a scene from Peter Pan. Then the scene transitions into Dumbo flying through the air. This scene highlights another really cool effect. Notice how the red drones that create the balloon turn off as the cloud passes in front of them to give the illusion of depth. It's a simple yet remarkably clever trick. The red balloon transitions into one of the balloons on the house from up, and this scene is my personal favorite visual trick they accomplished with this drone show. Look how solid the house looks as it rocks back and forth, especially when accompanied by creaking sound effects. When I was watching this in person, my eyes truly believed there's a giant house being suspended by balloons in front of me. Huge props to the animators that animated this scene. Even watching it back, you can feel the weight of the house as it's hoisted into the air. Absolutely remarkable. The next scene shows Dante from Coco in our first of 2 transformation scenes. We then transition into possibly the best scene in the entire show, the WALL-E scene. I'd love to show the entire thing with audio and music, but YouTube probably wouldn't be too happy about that. The entire scene is just outstanding though, definitely worth a watch. Once again, the drones master the illusion of being solid objects in front of you. I wish I had more to say, but it works so incredibly well, I don't have any notes to elaborate on. It's just remarkable. We move into the Star Wars portion of the show. You can see another clever trick they use where the Death Star rotates, the lights turn on and off so you can only see one side of the ship. Just as if you would if it was one big solid ball. The Death Star explodes, and in one of the most satisfying transitions of the entire show, Baymax inflates up.
The Force will be with you, always.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion.
In the second transformation scene, he equips his armor and moves into a flying position. It's so cool to see this level of character animation being done with drones. My mind was blown throughout the entire show. Next, we move into the Guardians of the Galaxy scene, and they do something I find interesting, which is using the drones to essentially create a giant LED screen in the sky. This effect is 90% there. However, I do feel like they could have used more drones just to make the shape slightly more clear. The show finally wraps up showing all sorts of flying Disney characters in a fun montage, and we finally end on the show's logo. This definitely feels like one final flex, just showing off that they can do text with the drones as well. So this brings me back to my initial question. Is this show any good? Absolutely, for a lot of reasons. I don't need to reiterate the absolute beast of a tech showcase this is. I was blown away at every move. I do want to talk about the show in a bit of a broader context because I feel like it successfully accomplishes two important things. Dreams at Soar brings a level of Disney magic to a place that feels like a glorified outlet mall. The area before Disney Springs, called Downtown Disney, always felt so charming, quaint, and Disney. The Disney Springs era shopping district really just feels like any of the other outlet malls you can find in the Central Florida area. Obviously, this drone show doesn't permanently change the infrastructure of the park, but it really adds something it was otherwise missing. Another important thing this show accomplishes is bringing something into Disney for Florida residents. Disney for a long time has been pricing out Florida residents as well as making it difficult to ride the monorail and get into the hotels. Not to mention by marketing to international audiences, they've completely eliminated any of the off-season there once was, which is when Florida residents would get to experience the parks tourist-free. This show does a bit to undo all of that, as it's completely free to park at Disney Springs and to see the show. I think that's fantastic, and it's a great move to help Disney at a time when their image needs a bit of help. Universal also just recently premiered a drone show, but Disney's drone show started sooner, and Universal's isn't free. You have to get admission to the park to see it. This is a rare leg up for Disney in a post-Epic Universe announcement world. Overall, the show is incredible. If you're in the Disney area until September when the show ends, I highly recommend going out of your way to check it out. If you enjoy technology, Disney, or really just things that are cool, you'll absolutely love it. I hope we see another show return to Disney Springs after this one ends. With this show ending in September, it does make me wonder if they have plans to do one for the Christmas season. That would be really neat. Let me know in the comments what you think about the show. Have you seen it? Did you like it? What other uses of drone shows would you like to see, in Disney or elsewhere? If you enjoyed the video, you can let me and the algorithm know by leaving a like. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.